Hello, parents. What you have in front of you right now is the Pac-Man game that your child completed in Tech Ed recently. I hope that you saw their score on Skyward, and I want to make sure that you understand what's involved with this game and show you how you could open up your own child's game. So, this project is all about programming, getting your students used to programming. We use this software called Scratch. It is made by MIT, and the whole intent of the program is to get kids involved with programming. Taking the code out, we use a system called drag and drop programming where you take blocks of code and you just drag it over here and add it to the program. So to make this, we went through many steps. The first thing I had the students do is they started by designing their own game board. So they went through here and made a Pac-Man style type board. Again, everyone's game ended up differently, and that's a good thing. Some students tried to mimic the actual Pac-Man game, while others just went very creative with it. So after their game board was done, we started drawing ghosts, because the ghosts are the objects that are going to move around on the board on their own. So we would draw a ghost on this Pac-Man game, and then we would write script for this ghost to move around the board on its own. So we programmed them to glide around the board on their own. So we not only drew the ghost, but we also programmed a ghost. After we were done with all our ghosts, again, I told the students put 4 in, at least 4. Then we worked on our Pac-Man character. So we first had to draw our Pac-Man character. As you can see here, we drew 2 different costumes, one with the mouth open and one with the mouth closed, so that as Pac-Man moved around a board, it would make it look like his mouth, or Mrs. Pac-Man in that case, is moving their mouth, opening and closing, and trying to eating the pellets that we would later draw. So we'd programmed this code. The Pac-Man code was the longest of the codes. We had to drag and drop and allow for each one of our directions. We control Pac-Man with our up and down and right and left arrows, so we programmed it to do that. Then after we did that, we drew some pellets in here, and we made our pellets disappear so that we tested our programs out to make sure they worked. So when you press play, the Pac-Man should go around and then the pellets should disappear. The score should go up. We had to write a program on how to do the score. When it hits the ghost, it should lose, or at least lose a life. And again, this is a very simple Pac-Man game, not necessarily the one that's at the arcades, but that's how a lot of them turned out. Okay, some students made very advanced looking Pac-Man games. This is one example where a person actually, this is one of our 5th graders from last year, but just to give you an example, this is one of the better examples I still have on file, that where you hit the green flag and there's even sound effects. And again, a lot of this I did not show the students. So what this student did is went beyond the program and did a lot of programming on their own and kind of figured it out by going to the Scratch website. So that's the next thing I want to show you, is how to open your child's Pac-Man game with the Scratch website. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is open your child's project in the Scratch on the Scratch website. So you're going to want to go to Google and search for it, or it doesn't matter what your browser is, Safari, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, and you're going to just search for Scratch .mit. When you do that .edu, you'll come to their website. So this is a free website. You can see the whole community of users. It's very similar to like YouTube in some ways. You have to be a little careful on this site. We used the offline version here at school. That way we wouldn't get into some people's games that might not be necessarily appropriate for our age level. But I did show the kids this site, Scratch MIT, because that is, if you don't have Scratch downloaded to your computer at home, you would have to go to this site to be able to open it. And it doesn't open on an iPad, unfortunately, because of the Flash player files. So you can have your child create their own site. I had my daughter, who's 9 years old, create her own Scratch account, but obviously I'm the supervisor of that account. So you can join the community and learn more. I showed the kids how you could see examples of other people's games. Some of these are more professional than others, and you could try to look at someone's game and look at their code. You could see inside these codes and figure out how they made that game, and you can make it on your own, or you can go through and modify someone else's code. So again, we spent a little bit of time doing that in class, so feel free to do that. But once you have Scratch opened, okay, to see your kid's project, your student's project, I should say, you would go to, and I'm just going to open up a new tab here. You want to go to Gateway's website. Okay, to open up your child's project, the easiest way to do it, you need to see their project first and download it to your computer. So you're going to go to, I'm just going to open up a new tab on Chrome here. I'm going to type Gateway Web Start. Your students are pretty used to doing this, but at home that's probably the easiest way to get to our Web Start page. From there we have our link right to our Google Drive. Your student was told to go ahead and drag their Scratch into their Drive account, their Google Drive. We have our own Google Drive account here, so it should look like this. So if you wanted to see this game, you would just click on this. It would obviously download to your computer. So it's going to look like it has a bunch of files in it. You're going to download it to your computer. Okay, so after you downloaded your project to your computer, and you want to go back over to your the Scratch site and go File. And again, you don't have to be signed in. I'm not signed in right here. Upload from your computer. Okay. When I then do that, obviously I'm going to look for my downloads folder, and you should see a file right there. So if I press open, it'll open up that file, and then you should then be able to play your child's game. Now, some children handed some of their projects in there. There might be a few errors in it, but that's okay. You know, part of coding is learning and growing and getting better at coding. So I hope you enjoy these games. I hope you enjoy this project. I hope you start a dialogue with your child about what was involved with this project. And I hope they continue to use Scratch a little bit at home and become a better coder. So good luck, and thank you for watching this video.